So if y'all are on TikTok, honestly any social media, but especially TikTok, y'all have seen that the Hunger Games is having a resurgence. Why? Probably because the new movie is coming out this year. But it has consumed social media, consumed my For You page. I'll be honest about that. And I'm loving it. I I am a child of the dystopian Hunger Games, Divergent era. That's the shit that I grew up with, and I've always loved the Hunger Games. I was on it when those books were coming out. I said, "Mom, let's go. Take me to the bookstore right now because I need to purchase these books and I need to read them now. I need to be the first person to ever read these books." And you know what? I still have them all on my shelf. To be honest, I gave Catching Fire to my mom and she lost it, and I'm still a little sad about it. But that's beside the point. I have all the other books on my shelf right now, brother. I have the Hunger Games book in my bedside table because I'm going to start reading the Hunger Games again because I haven't read those books in forever. They're just so good. So, right before the resurgence happened, I started watching the Hunger Games movies again. I watched all of them, and then the resurgence hit full force. And then I watched them again a week ago, probably. And I just can't stop. Hunger Games is on my brain. I journaled about the Hunger Games the other day. Okay, it's sucking me back in, and I am a Hunger Games stan. I'm gonna go cosplay as Katniss Everdeen right after this. Every stream after this, you will see me dress up as Katniss Everdeen. And since I've been watching these fucking movies again, got me thinking. There's a lot of fucking characters in these movies. There's a lot, and in the books, but we're specifically talking about characters in the movie today. So it's got me thinking. Who is, or what group of people are the best Hunger Games characters, and who are the worst? Who absolutely fucking sucks ass, and who is actual god tier characters? For this list, though, we are just focusing on. There's two stipulations. They have to be relevant to the story. And that doesn't count book people because there's a ton of people in the book who weren't mentioned in the movies who are relevant. So they have to be relevant to the story. They have to have a name. And I think that was it. I thought there was a third one, but there wasn't. So they have to be relevant to the story in some way, and they have to have a name. So there are some people that were cut out who do have a name, but that they're not really relevant in the story. No offense to the people that fucking died, but you weren't relevant to the progression of the rebellion. So I'm sorry, but you gotta go. So those types of characters are not going to be included in this list. But everyone who actually had some type of impact or was mentioned kind of in detail or something like that is going to be included in this list. Let's fucking get into it. So I'm going to go in alphabetical order because I don't feel like changing things in the list. So Annie Cresta, our beloved Finnick Odair's wife. Annie, the probably most traumatized victor of them all. Genuinely such a good person. She does no wrong. Annie is very sweet. And I feel like Annie didn't in the movie, I feel like Annie was not developed enough, as much as she was in the book. And I know the whole thing is they have way more time in a book and they're not, trying to cram everything into 2 hours. But I feel like they could have given Annie more time, more screen time, because they really only talk about her in passing. So I think movie adaptation Annie is good, but not quite there. She's love her, always love Annie. I'm an Annie stan. I'm an Annie stanny. You know what I mean? But movie Annie, I feel like there's a little left to be desired because she was kind of just watered down to be. Hey, she's crazy, she's crazy, but Finnick likes her for some reason. I feel like she was more than that in the book. And I might be wrong. Some of these might be inaccurate because I haven't read the books in a really long time. But I feel like she was more relevant and more developed and well thought out in the books. Beetee. Hold on. I need to move this down an inch. That was not a fucking inch. There we go. I just need to zoom out for a second because I could not see everything. Okay. Beetee. Smart. Literally was the backbone of some of the stuff. Most of the things that they had to do to free Peeta, Joanna, Annie was the backbone of the plan for getting them out of the arena. Literally was like, Widowy was the reason. He was like just so intelligent, and I like that they portrayed that in the movie as well. Like, my man's had a hand in making most of the shit the Capitol uses. No fucking shit, he's gonna know how to get around it. But like, also, my man, didn't he say he like helped develop the force field thing, and this man still almost fucking died from it? Beetee, because you were such a backbone in the revolution and the rebellion, you're elite. So, such, like, honestly, such good characterization, too. And, like, I love him. And I felt so bad when Wirus died. So fucking bad. Because I actually like Wirus, too. Blight, kind of irrelevant. Like, I felt bad for Joanna when he died, obviously, because, like, that was, you know, from her district and everything. But I feel like he's there, but he's not super important in the movie. Boggs. My man, Boggs. I could literally cry thinking about this man. His death was so fucking sad, dude. His death made me want to actually crawl into a hole and fucking cry my eyes out. Yeah, I'm gonna cry. I'm always gonna cry for Boggs. He died in such a fucking horrific way, and, like, he always knew what was going on. He never fell for Coin's bullshit, and it was literally pointed out that he was the only person to acknowledge, or one of the only people to acknowledge that Katniss was still a child when she was going through all this. He always had her back, and was never, like, under the brainwashing of Coin, and always knew she was up to some shit, and was always supportive of, like, Katniss just, like, doing her thing and leading the revolution in the way that she wanted to, or, like, not even leading a revolution, or, like, doing whatever she wanted to do. So Boggs, god fucking tier character. I love that man so much. Brutus, didn't all you fucking do was die? Did Brutus do fucking anything other than die in the movie? Like, did he really do anything? Because he had no hand in the revolution, I don't think. Cause, yeah, he fucking died in the arena. And he's the one who got in the way of the plan. He's part of the reason why Peeta was fucking taken by the Capitol, and why they couldn't get Peeta out initially. Yeah, all he did was die and be scary. So, why? Just why? You were irrelevant here. Buttercup. For one, I love cats, so I think we know where Buttercup is going. But also, I'm gonna pull just a pinch from the books, because this is depicted in the movie. It's just explained in the book how Buttercup kind of helps, like, Prim dying helped her to actually like Buttercup, because she's like, holy shit, I can't even imagine, like, this cat doesn't even know that Prim is gone, like, can't even understand that Prim is gone. Like, Katniss discovered empathy a little bit with this cat, and just, like, not even just for that, just because this beautiful, adorable baby is a cat. Buttercup is a god tier character. I need to step away for a minute. I need to get my water, because I feel like my vocal cords are falling out of my face. Buttercup's a reminder of Katniss' love for Prim and helps her to remember her. Yeah. That is the reason why Buttercup is a god tier character. And, you know, I love cats. Caesar Flickerman. you say it's Caesar, right? Yeah, that just looked wrong because it's C-A. Caesar Flickerman. My man. Caesar Flickerman to me is actually a very... I have complex feelings towards Caesar. Yeah, Caesar is one of my favorites as well, but I do have a little complex feelings. But, okay. So, obviously, Caesar was grandfathered into being, like, the announcer for the Hunger Games and all that shit. So he can't... He has no say in whether he does this or not. And, like, whether he contributes to the actual, like, fucked up shit that the Hunger Games does and, like, the fucked up things that President Snow does. So he kind of can't help that. But he's also kind of guilty just by default, you know? Like, even though he didn't willingly do any of this stuff, he's still feeding all of this stuff to people, and probably a big reason why so many people in the Capitol are fucking brainwashed for President Snow. But, like, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because you can't really blame him for that, because he's literally being, like, he has no choice. He can either do this or, like, be killed, and that's it. Like, he has no other fucking choice. But he's playing a hand in such dangerous and detrimental shit that, like, can you even excuse that? Yeah, he is one of the more complex victims of the Capitol. And it's also people, like, it's like, like, him and Seneca are two of the ones that I'm, like, I feel bad for, because they really were just, like, put in positions where they could either do this thing or die. And we obviously see that Seneca fucking died. So, like, we see how quickly it can go from one thing to another. Yeah, he's not he's not prosecuted in the books. Which I think that's fair. I don't think he should be, because he was grandfathered into this position and has no choice. He can either do it or fucking die or, like, become an AVOX or some shit. He has, like, no good options if he doesn't do it. So, despite my complicated feelings, Caesar Flickerman is incredibly charismatic and amazing and funny. And I think he does definitely have moments of, like, where he's interviewing them, where he does kind of express that he's, like, on their side a little bit, but very subtly, like, subtly enough that he's not going to be murdered by the Capitol. So I think just because I have complicated feelings for him, he's going in the elite tier. He's an incredible character, though, and he is definitely one of my favorites. Kashmir, same as Brutus. Girl, what the fuck are you doing other than dying? And, like, being here with your brother. Yeah, he does try and help them by making them look more likable. So there are hints of, like, of Caesar actually being, like, self-aware of what's happening, but obviously trying to keep up the appearance that he's not, so that he doesn't fucking die. But moving on to Kashmir. Girl, what did you do? What did you do? You and your brother thought you ate during the Quarter Quell interviews. You thought you ate, being like, ooh, siblings, I don't want to kill my brother. I don't want to have to kill anyone. What did you do? You're just like a Brutus here. You just fucking died. That's it. Like, why? Why? What are you doing? What are you doing? Get the fuck out. I mean, I guess she already got the fuck out because she's dead, but, like, you know. Castor. Another character I will always be fucking sad about. Another character I will always be so fucking sad. And the thing is, I'm not sad. Like, if Pollux wasn't a thing, like, if he didn't mourn his brother, I don't think I'd really be sad about Castor. Because, like, he's obviously important throughout Mockingjay, like, both Mockingjay movies. Because he's, like, the film dude and everything, and, like, helps to film the rebellion and everything. But I feel like he doesn't really have a ton of characterization. I feel like he's not like an in-depth character that we see a lot. And the only reason I was heartbroken over Castor is because Pollux was obviously fucking devastated when his brother died. So just ranking Castor alone, like without the fucking absolute tragedy of Pollux mourning him, I feel like he's just kind of irrelevant, you know? Like he's important. Yeah, their names being the constellations. Yeah. Yeah, when you told me that, I'm like, ugh, that hurts even more. But yeah, Castor alone as a character, I don't really think he's relevant. Cato. Cato. Another character I have complicated feelings towards. I don't like Cato by any means. Even looking at him through a different lens, I don't fucking like him. He's a dick. All in all. Like, aside from wanting to kill people and just, like, having fun with it, he's just a dick. He's not a good person. But, in the first movie, when he's about to die, like, you feel bad for him a little bit throughout the whole movie. It's like the capitals, like the first three, what is it, like first three districts? I think he's from District 1. But those districts literally manufacture their children and train them to be a part of, like, it's a good thing for them to be in the Hunger Games. And, like, their districts are the ones that have won the most Hunger Games. So you feel bad for him because he is just a kid. I think he's like 18, so he's literally just like a fucking kid. And he's been made to be into this fucking killing machine and be literally brainwashed into thinking that this is what he wants to do. Like, and he wants to kill people and it's fun to kill people. And it's like, you feel bad for him. Like, it's fucking terrible. Like, right before Katniss kills him, when he's like, has PETA in a chokehold, he talks about how, like, this is all he's good at and this is all he's good for and shit. And that, like, is heartbreaking, dude. It's heartbreaking that a fucking, like, literal child is like, yeah, all I'm here to do is kill. Like, that's all I'm good for. That's all I'm made for. And that's so fucking sad. Like, that breaks your heart, but he's also just a dick. Yeah, a great moment to remind the audience that the actors aren't their characters. Yeah, just read an interview with the guy and he talked about the actual abuse he faced from fans. Like, people spit on him in the street and shit. Wow. That is ridiculous. Yes. Please, we are separating the character from the actor. Just because Cato sucks as a character does not mean the actor does. I don't know anything about the actor, but I'm sure he's a fine gentleman. Let's always remember to separate. This is a character and this is a person. Just because they play a shitty or mean or sucky character does not mean that they're a bad person or not mean that they're a malicious person or anything. It's just a fucking character. Let's separate that now. Let's put that boundary down now. Because I'm strictly talking about these characters. I'm not talking about them as people. So let's remember that separation, please, because it's very important. So Cato's character, I'm gonna be nice and label him as average. I still hate him. I still fucking hate Cato. He's just a dick. Like, even if he wasn't manufactured to be a killing machine, he'd still just be an asshole. Like, if you took away that entire part of his personality, he's still a fucking prick. So he's average just because I can sympathize with the fact that he is indeed just a child who was quite literally bred to be a killing machine. And that's fucking devastating. Like, that's so sad. It's heartbreaking, dude. I feel bad for all the children in, like, those first couple districts. Cecilia, she was a past victor. I'm not sure which. I can't remember which game she was a part of. I'm pretty sure she was kind of relevant. I don't remember a goddamn thing about her. Not a thing. Yeah, I don't remember a thing about her. Chaff. I don't remember, like, he wasn't, like, I don't think they went into super detail. I just dropped my fucking water. They didn't go into super detail about him, but he seems like a very lovable man. And the fact that he refused to cover up his scars and wear a prosthetic for the injuries, like they were injuries he sustained in the games, and he refused to cover them up for the Capitol. That's a fucking baller move right there. So he's good, but not quite there. If we knew more about him, I feel like he'd be higher up. But just like those things alone, fucking baller ass character. Cinna. Girlies, I need a minute. I need a fucking minute. Because Cinna, one of my top 3 characters, 100%. Top 3 characters. Cinna, he was just so good. He was just one of those people who was seemingly never brainwashed by the Capitol, and he always fucking advocated for Katniss, and like the shit he did with all of her dresses and like the Mockingjay dress that got him killed. Like that man knew what he was doing. He literally was ready to take that risk and lose his fucking life for this kid because he knew that Katniss was gonna just upend fucking everything and change this world. And that man died in the name of the fucking Mockingjay, died in the name of the rebellion. And you know what? Yeah, he also actually saw Katniss as a child. And I love that his whole thing, like when they first met, he was like, because she was asking like, "Oh, it's your job to make me look good." And he was like, "No, it's my job to help you make an impression." And like from the very moment that they met, he knew exactly what he was doing with making her seem like this standout rebellion figurehead. And he was just such a good character, such a good character. He was never like convoluted by the Capitol in the movies and never fucked up by any of that stuff. He just like held true to his beliefs no matter what and helps Katniss be as impressionable as she possibly could. Ugh. Absolute god tier character. Cinna will always be one of my fucking favorite characters. I love him so fucking much, dude. So fucking much. Such a good character. And Lenny Kravitz did such a good job with him too. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anything else that Lenny Kravitz is in, but he did such a fucking good job in that movie, in those movies. Like, ugh, fuck, such a good job, so good. Claudius. I mean, he's like kind of funny. I don't. Again, that's another character who I feel like is not really relevant in the movie. Obviously, he's the announcer for the Hunger Games and everything. But that's another character. I don't think he was self-aware of everything that was happening, though. Like, I don't think he was very self-aware like Caesar was. I don't think he had the wherewithal to not be brainwashed by the Capitol. So he's kind of irrelevant. I don't love him, and he's kind of just there. Clove. I feel like Clove is the opposite of Cato, where she doesn't see that she was manufactured to be a killing machine and doesn't quite grasp it as much as Cato does before he dies. I think she really does just bank on the idea that this is what I'm made to do. I want to kill people. I like killing people. End of story. I don't think she actually had that, at least in the movie, I don't think she had that development to see it any type of other way. And for that, I don't know, for that, and again, it brings on the sympathy thing, because it's like, I feel bad that was all that she knew. Like, that's it. And she, like, wasn't really, you feel more bad for her than you do Cato. I feel more bad for Cato because he knew. Like, the fact that he was self-aware enough to know that before he died, and that's, like, the last thing that he thought of. And, like, had to grapple with before he died, I think that's even worse. So I personally feel that worse for Kato than I do Clove. But I don't know. I do feel that sympathy for Clove a lot, but not as much for Kato. So I think or not as much as Kato. So I think I'm gonna put her here because I just don't feel that as much sympathy. I trust me, I feel a lot of sympathy for her because it's still incredibly fucked up situation and like horrible that children are being bred to fucking kill people for fun. But I don't think she had as much development or as much character design in the movies as she could have, and I think it was kind of just one dimensional in the movies. Motherfucking Coin. We were rooting for you, Coin. We were all fucking rooting for you. All of us were rooting for you. Because, you know, even in the movies, when I watch them, in Mockingjay Part 1, she's not, you can't really tell as much that she is just like President Snow. Like, there's, like, little glimpses of it, but I feel like in Mockingjay 1, you can't really tell that she, like, has kind of ulterior motives for everything that's happening, and, like, it's basically just going to be Snow 2.0. You can't see that as much in Mockingjay 1, so, like, you're kind of just given this false sense of security of, like, oh, hell yeah, we're going to have a new leader, and, like, she's going to make everything better, and we're going to fix it all, and, you know, fuck the Capitol, and all this stuff, like, we're not under their reign anymore. But then she, literally, two sides of the same fucking coin, because her and Snow are the exact same, they're just different odds, different ends of the extreme. So I wanted to like Coin so bad. I wanted to fucking root for her so bad. She does look very slay in the movie. I will give her that. But I wanted to root for her so bad because I'm like, yes, we're ready. Revolution is coming. You're going to be the leader. But then you fucking watch, like, District 13 and they're like a regime, basically. Like, way more strict and controlled than the Capitol. Like, the Capitol is kind of like, they're controlled, but they're kind of allowed to do things within the means of the Capitol still. But District 13 is like, no, we're all the same, we all dress the same, we all are basically an army all the fucking time. So, Coin, and especially rewatching the movies, like, you can just see those little nuances where she, like, is just fucking like Coin. So I think Coin genuinely has to go in the bottom tier because she deserves it. She fucking deserves it. And, like, it's so, like, it genuinely makes me sick when I watch those movies, like Mockingjay Part 2, and she's, like, talking about the fucking making a new Hunger Games. It's like, dude, like, when I watch that in theaters, I'm like, what the fuck? Because I read the books before, too, like, before I watched the movies, and I'm like, she's just the fucking same. She's literally the same as President Snow. And there's no other way to fucking say it. They're the same, two sides of the same fucking coin. That's it. They're the exact fucking same. Cressida. Is that her name? I can't really fucking read the... Yeah, Cressida. I can't read the text because it's kind of tiny. I had to zoom out. She's a fucking banger character. Not only does she just look like a badass, incredible that she just fucking left the Capitol and was like, fuck it, I'm down for a revolution. Let's fucking do it. And that's one thing you have to give Castor to, because I'm pretty sure he was from the Capitol as well. But, did I say her name wrong? No, it is Cressida. I keep thinking I said it wrong. But she is such a fucking badass, and, like, she's obviously part of the film crew and everything, and, like, is capturing the revolution for TV and filming propos and everything. But, like, she has her moments where she becomes a more standout character, like, where she sticks up for Katniss against, is it Jackson? Because Boggs gives her the fucking detector thingy, and she, like, sticks up for Katniss and, like, Actually, no. Boggs left it to her, so we're gonna follow her. And like she's like tooth and nail with it. Like obviously she's just a film crew, but like she's also much more than that because she's tooth and nail always there with Katniss when they're going through all this shit. Like they're on the fucking front lines, brother. She's a fucking great character. Even though she was only introduced in fucking Mockingjay, still an amazing character. So that's an elite character right there. Dalton, District 13. All I remember about him is that he was the one to marry Annie and Finnick. So that's a good character. I just for that alone, good fucking character. That's all I need to know. Effie motherfucking Trinket. Effie motherfucking Trinket. I love Effie so much. And there's a lot of reasons why I love Effie. I love that, to start, she is just comedic relief for most of it. Like, she is just so fucking funny. I think he was brainwashed by Coin. Cressida was Caesar's foil. Yeah. Caesar had a high level of self-awareness, whereas Cressida wasn't self-aware about the fact that she was centralizing. Yeah. She's the vulture needed to me. She waits to see Katniss having most. Yeah, okay, that's fair. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that at all. So maybe she's not an elite character. So thinking about your comment about how she preys on Katniss in Moments for the Rebellion, I think it's also like, I think it's also her kind of being brainwashed by like Coin and by Plutarch, because Plutarch was he was obviously a very important part of the revolution, but he also still had the capital mindset of like, I'm gonna, it's me. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get this revolution to happen, regardless of who we lose in the process, and like regardless of who gets fucked up or who gets sacrificed or whatever else. So I think in that aspect, Cressida is kind of brainwashed by Coin in a sense. So yeah, actually thinking about it, she gets knocked down a tier because she is definitely like a depiction of the media being vultures for tragedy. So yeah, I'd agree with that. I changed that. She's good, but not quite elite when you put it in that perspective. If you take that away, she's an elite character. But if you bring into that aspect of it and like her brainwashing just by someone else, that's fair. She gets knocked down a tier. Effie motherfucking Trinket. As I was saying, Effie she has a lot of moments of being comedic relief. And in the beginning, I didn't really like Effie as much as I do now, because like through the lens of seeing these movies as like a child, I was like, oh, she just contributes to the capital as much as everybody else does, and she's so happy about the game, so doesn't realize it's fucked up. But as an adult, watching the movies again, it's like Effie is literally just as much of a victim of the capital as everyone else in the capital. Like, she doesn't have the wherewithal or like just the cultural or lifestyle awareness to realize that, hey, this is fucked up, because that's just her normal. Like, she's known this her whole life. Everything has just been about the capital and the Hunger Games, and it's been like this huge thing and like a positive thing. So I feel like Effie's character development is some of the best, because of all people, I would not think that Effie would stand by Katniss through the rebellion. And there's many moments where you see her actually become self-aware and realize that, damn, this is fucked up. Like, just the quarter quell, she's like sobbing because they're being sent off again. And, she has her moments of being, fawning over Katniss in her dress, and like, before she goes on her interview with Caesar Flickerman. But it's like, there's literally moments where she's so fucking heartbroken that she literally is like, these are my babies. Like, they're being sent in the fucking arena again. Why is this happening? So I think the quarter quell was a really big turning point for Effie. because she just like started to actually have her moment of like, holy shit, this is not okay, and we need to like this is not how people should live, and this is not what we should be doing. So Effie is a very yeah, you would have made a beautiful bride. Yeah, that one. Ooh, that line gets me every time. She says that right before Katniss goes on for her interview with Caesar before the Court of Well. But Effie is genuinely one of my favorite characters and one of the best characters. Just for her development over time, and even in the movies, they did such a good job with it, like showing that progression from this woman is brainwashed by the Capitol and loves everything they're doing to this woman is standing by the literal face of the rebellion and helping the literal face of the rebellion get ready to shoot Propos or whatever else. And she's just funny too. Like Elizabeth Banks did such a good fucking job depicting Effie. So Effie is a god tier fucking character. I love Effie. Enobaria. Another really shockingly enough, another really fucking sad character depiction. She's very misunderstood. Very fucking misunderstood. And I feel bad for that. Like, I feel bad that she's painted as this, like, this monster, pretty much, because her teeth are shaved to be all pointy and she bit somebody's throat out. But it's like, people don't bite someone, like, just thinking about this realistically, you don't bite someone's throat out because you want to. You do that in a moment of desperation because it's either their life or yours. You know what I mean? And it's like, she, like, again, pulling a little bit from the books, she only shaved her teeth because, like, that was what people made her into, and that was what made her stand out, and that was what... Yeah, it's not the move of someone who's winning the fight. Definitely not. It's the move of somebody who is trying to fucking survive. Like, they're not on the... They don't have the upper hand in that fight. But, she literally, like, does all these things just to portray this character because that's what everyone knows her as, and that's what everyone likes her as. And that's what the Capitol likes her as. So she's also a very, like, sad character. Because, like, she's just literally, again, another product of the Capitol that just... Or another product of, like, the Capitol's brainwashing that she just has to do what she has to do. Or fall by the sideline, you know? So I'm going to put her in average. Because I don't love her character, but it is very sad. And I do feel for her. Another character that I need to fucking take a minute to, like, cry over. Finnick motherfucking Odair. Finnick deserved better. And this might be an unpopular opinion and a hot take. But I think, yeah, screaming, crying, throwing up, shitting, pissing, dying on the floor. Finnick Odair, again, another one of my favorite fucking characters. Finnick deserved so much better. And my unpopular opinion is that it should have been Gale dying in place of Finnick. Now, let me finish. It's not just because I love Finnick more and I don't like Gale that much. I think that would have been... Because his whole thing is that he's upset because he can't get Katniss' attention and he wants to be with Katniss and he loves Katniss and everything. I think that should have been his moment to actually prove his emotions for Katniss. I think him sacrificing himself so that people like Finnick and Peeta and Katniss could live and continue on with the rebellion would have been a much greater show of love than anything that he ever did for Katniss. And I understand that it was very important that he took care of Katniss' family while she was in the games, and like that was an integral part of them surviving because they wouldn't have had anything else been the case. But I think they should have made it this big production to give him a chance to actually redeem himself a little bit, because I think he became so unlikable to me because there were no moments where he actually redeemed himself. He just sucked the entire time. Like in the beginning, like in the first movie, he wasn't terrible. Like he was good up until Katniss got to the games, but I think that would have been a much more profound show of love than anything he ever did. So I 100% think it should have been Gale that sacrificed himself to the Hounds instead of Finnick, because it's so fucking upsetting to me that Finnick had just got Annie back, just got married, Annie was pregnant, and he fucking dies. But you know what? Finnick is a fucking W character because, again, horrible, tragic, upsetting backstory, was like never really let himself to come to what the Capitol wanted in terms of like being brainwashed by it, was fully ready to support Katniss and Peeta, literally lost his life protecting them so that the revolution could continue on. Finnick 100% is a god tier character. I love him so fucking much, and I will, till my very last breath, I will say that it should have been Gale who sacrificed himself instead of Finnick. That would have been way more impactful, and it might have even made people such as myself actually have an ounce of like for Gale after like the first movie. Flavius. He was a part of Katniss's prep team. I don't really remember a ton about him. I don't really remember a ton. I know he was Slay. Like, he was also very, very fucked up in the Capitol mentality. But again, a lot of these people are products of their environment, so you can't blame them a ton. He kind of just exists. Like, he's a Slay, but he's not really, like, a big character in the movies other than being on the prep team, you know? Foxface. Foxface. What do I have to say about Foxface? Foxface's death is kind of sad to me. I mean, all of their deaths are sad to me. But Foxface was sad because I know some people say that she intentionally ate the berries because she knew she wouldn't have lived. But I personally think that she did that out of an act of desperation, because they made a point to show her like in the training sequence in the first movie, like doing the tests for like showing all the vegetation and the berries and seeing what's poison and what's not. That was kind of for specialty, and the Nightlock berries, they were only in District 12, so like obviously she didn't know that, and only Katniss knew because she fucking went out in the forest and like had seen them before. But I think Foxface is especially sad because she, to me, it feels like she did that in act of desperation because she was fucking starving, had no other food, and was following them in hopes that she would find something, you know? She knew she wasn't going to win in a fight against them, so she was just trying to fucking survive and get by. And I think that makes it even more sad because there was just this kid who was so sad, or not even sad, but so desperate and so hungry and whatever else, that she just did what she had to do to survive. And it's fucking sad that she died. And I think it's sad that we didn't get to... I can't remember if we learned more about Foxface in the books, but just movie adaptation, she's average. But, you know, she's another character like Kato, where I just feel a lot of sympathy because it's like desperate times call for desperate measures, you know what I mean? Gale, you fucking bitch. I don't like Gale. Like I just fucking said like 30 seconds ago. I don't like Gale, and you know, I think he deserves to be here. He might even... Actually, you know what? No. Gale goes in the bottom tier, because I will never forgive him for fucking being the reason that a bunch of children were bombed, including Prim. The books go out of the way to say that her body was completely emaciated when they were... Oh, Jesus. I think she was starving and desperate. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I feel like a lot of sympathy for Foxface. Like, it's just sad because she was very obviously just so fucking desperate and, like, to the point of, like, I have to eat something, I'm gonna fucking die, you know? But I think Gale deserves to be in the bottom tier. I really think he does. Because I understand that he's, like, in love with Katniss and wants, you know, so badly to be the one that Katniss loves and is married to and everything. But holy shit, bro. Grow the fuck up. For one, she only started doing this because she was trying to survive the Hunger Games. She only started to do any of that stuff because she was literally trying to make it so she did not die a horrible death. And she didn't want to kill anybody else either. Like, she literally only killed out of necessity in the first Hunger Games. And that goes for all of them. Like, she only killed people out of fucking literal necessity. Yes, Gale does give incel vibes, and oh god, I hate Gale. But Katniss literally only kills people to survive, so I don't think she would want to kill Peeta. Like, she made it obvious, even before they really delved into the whole, like, romancing, that she did not want to kill Peeta. She did not want to kill him at all. And she didn't even, like, in the movies, she did not even consider taking his life when they were the only two left. Her first thought was to try and do the berries so that they would both die. But it's like, dude, you don't own Katniss. Like, you don't own this girl because she is her own person. Yes, she has feelings for you, but she also has feelings for Peeta. And, like, have you never had feelings for more than one person at once? Have you never felt the convoluted feelings of that situation? It's like, dude, grow the fuck up. And you, like, you were bad enough as a character, and then you had to bomb a bunch of fucking children. Dude, get the fuck out of here. You are a shit-ass character. Gale sucks, dude. Gale fucking sucks. Glimmer. Oh, I'm sorry. I said Cashmere. Earlier, I said Cashmere was... Oh, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting people mixed up. Glimmer and... Cashmere and Gloss are siblings. Yeah. Glimmer was in the first Hunger Games. I don't really remember much about Glimmer. Was Glimmer the one that was, like, kind of just banking? Oh, yes! Yes, because she took the bow and arrow. He felt like this super weird feeling of owning her. I'd like to talk about the fact he's literally about to turn 18. Okay, yeah, that's true. Gale's, like, turning 18 in the first book, and Katniss is 16. That's weird, brother. That's weird. It would be, like, a little more, still kind of weird, but a little more normal if it's, like, a sibling type relationship. Like, they view each other as, like, big brother and big sister. That's still kind of weird. But, like, the fact that he's, like, romantically feeling towards her, that's strange. That's strange. Glimmer. I was remembering stuff about Glimmer because I remember that she specifically took the bow and arrow because she kind of banking on, like, impressing everyone with her beauty so that they wouldn't kill her. I think was part of her characterization. And it's like, girl, that did not work, for one. But I guess it's kind of not her fault that didn't work, because Katniss did kind of put the tracker jackers on her. But I know she specifically took the bow and arrow without knowing anything about shooting a bow and arrow. So she's another character that I feel sympathy for. Because again, another kid that was just brainwashed by the Capitol. So I think she deserves the same treatment as Clove. Still very fucking sad. Very... I will say, Gale made the bombs with Beetee and didn't have a say in how they were used, but it was his idea to prey on the compassionate people and making them look like gifts. The difference between the two is that Gale's bloodthirsty and wants revenge, while Beetee is just making things without that animosity. Yeah, I agree with that. Beetee is still an elite character. I feel like he also was just kind of like a victim to Coin, because he made the shit, but didn't really understand what was being done with it. And that's not his fault when Coin won't fucking speak on things like that and tries to keep things under, close quarters. But still, fuck Gale. He's a bitch. Gloss. Yeah, Cashmere and Gloss deserve to go together. Like, they were just like, y'all thought you ate with being like, my brother and my sister, I don't want to kill them. I don't want to kill anybody. It didn't work. The pregnancy thing worked better, Bessie. That didn't work. Nobody gives a shit about your brother and sister love. I'm sorry. Greasy Sea. That was the merchant. Yeah, that was the merchant on in the black market for. Did she die? I can't remember if she died or not in the movie. Either way, she's a good character. Just because the black market is literally the whole reason. That's why Katniss forgives Beetee and doesn't hold any of it against him while she holds it. Yeah, because she didn't see animosity in Beetee the same way she saw in Gale. Yeah. Dude, Gale just sucks. Gale sucks. And on that same note, like Beetee was never the like extremist of the revolution like Gale was. Like Gale, I think your death implied is just a good character in the book, Nicholas. Yeah, dude, they didn't give Greasy's like any characterization in the book. Like I just remember that she gives Katniss the Mockingjay pin, and that's like it. I don't remember anything else about her, but like I know she was a good character. It just sucks that they didn't go in more in depth about her in the movies. But back to Beetee. I like Beetee way more than Gale, just because Beetee was never like he never had that same blind anger and rage for the revolution that Gale did. And like I understand why Gale was mad. And like even thinking about like today's day and age, like the political climate of today, it's like it's a lot to fucking get mad about, dude. But it's like you can't have that blind anger because that's the way that so many people get hurt and no good is actually done because so many people were hurt in the process. It's like Beetee is never like that. But Gale is immediately like that the second that a chance of revolution comes about. And that's another reason why I don't fucking like him. Like, oh my god. Haymitch. My man, motherfucking Haymitch. He's an amazing character. Gale is Katniss' foil. She sees in him what she could have been if she held on to the rage. He separated himself from everyone he loved and cared about, while Katniss clung to them tighter. She wanted a better world for the people she loved. He wanted revenge. Gale is meant to be a cautionary tale. That's why I just don't like him. Like, he's so extreme in everything that he does, and he's just not a good, like, he's very well thought out because of the things he's supposed to depict, and, like, the fact that he is supposed to be Katniss' foil, but oh my god, dude. I cannot stand that man. I cannot stand him. Yeah, I would die for Haymitch. Haymitch is such a good character. And, like, another character that has such good, like, development through the whole thing. Because, very obviously, he is never on board with the Capitol and what they do and the games. Like, he's just doing this because he has to. He says it multiple times in the movie. But, like, that's another character that evolves to be like, I don't give a fuck about any of this. And, like, then acting like, you know, Peeta and Katniss are his literal kids and everything. And, like, he's such a father figure for Katniss. Like, Katniss has so many father figures, but Haymitch is definitely the biggest one. And the one that lasts the longest, too. And it's like, he doesn't outright say it, but I feel like he's also one of those. I don't think he outright says it in the movies, but he's also one of those characters who also recognizes that Katniss is still a child and doesn't treat her the same way as everybody else does. Like, he obviously enforces what the like, he is real with them. It's like, this is what you need to do for the fucking Capitol, or like, people are gonna die. And he's real about that, but he also doesn't overestimate them in he does occasionally, but like not so much as everyone else does. My poor man is so traumatized and drowns in sorrows, in alcohol because the Capitol killed everyone he loved. He tried so damn hard to protect Katniss from the same fate. He literally took on such a protective role for Katniss. And like even with Peeta, like obviously not as much as with Peeta, but like he did it with Peeta too. But he really did try so hard to protect Katniss from anything that he dealt with when he was a victor. And it's so, like, his backstory makes me want to fucking throw up too. So he's a god tier character. Jackson. Another complicated character. Kind of. A little bit. Only complicated in the sense that she pitched such a fucking fit against Katniss. But like she pitched such a fit, and like I don't know, she was just kind of shady the whole time. But then she kind of has that redemption arc of like, Cressida mentions it, how even Jackson didn't believe that Katniss was on a mission from Coin to kill President Snow. She just believed in Katniss so much that she went with it and believed it. He did it with Peeta, but protecting him looked different than trying to protect Katniss. Peeta actually accepted it. Yeah, that's true. Their help looked very different from Haymitch. So Jackson, I'd say Jackson is an average character because I didn't like her in the beginning, but I do think her little redemption arc with like actually like even though she knows that Katniss was not sent on a mission to kill Snow, she's like, okay, I believe in you. I know you can do this. Let's continue. And she also sacrificed her life for the revolution because she died when the Hounds started to come in the sewers. So she's an average character. I don't love her, but I don't hate her either because of that redemption arc. Joanna motherfucking Mason. Joanna motherfucking Mason. I love Joanna Mason. I love Joanna Mason so much. She's a badass. She's a fucking badass. She's also she's not a super cautionary tale. One second. Joanna is a cautionary tale. Yeah. Jackson absolutely believed in Katniss. In that moment, she rebelled against Coin in probably the biggest way she could while choosing to follow Katniss instead. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the only thing that makes her average is that it took so much for her to actually believe in Katniss. And, like, again, that is also just a product of being brainwashed by Coin. But I don't know. Jackson is there's something about her vibe that I don't fully like, but I do love her development in such like a short time to actually believing in Katniss. But Joanna motherfucking Mason, baby. I love Joanna Mason so much. Now, I do see that Joanna is a little bit of a cautionary tale just for people in the Capitol, or people in the games, kind of, because if you don't know if you don't know Joanna's backstory, she, like Finnick, was sold basically to the Capitol and was basically told, hey, you can sell your body to the Capitol or don't and see what happens. And she decided not to, and they killed her whole fucking family. And that is fucking devastating. Joanna and Finnick's friendship was one of the best in the whole series, and seeing the differences between them is wild. She lost everything because she wouldn't take Snow's deal and allowed herself to be sold out in the way that Finnick did. Yeah, I agree. And they are such a good dynamic. Like, Finnick and Joanna are such a good dynamic because it really is two ends of the extreme. Like, you have Finnick, who did what the Capitol wanted and is still in that rebellious mindset, but while still succumbing to what the Capitol wanted. Whereas Joanna is the fucking rebellious mindset, does not give a shit what the Capitol wants, but it turned out how she lost everything. I think they showed two sides. Yeah, two sides of the same trauma and tragedy. Absolutely. And like that's something I love about the Hunger Games, that it always has such these such deep intricacies of characters, and there's so many characters that literally just mirror each other and are just two extremes of the same situation. But Joanna is a fucking badass, and I love her and Kat. They don't really capitalize on it in the books, or I'm sorry, in the movies. But in the books, I love her and Katniss' friendship, how that develops and everything. And again, she was also immediately on board with the rebellion, and she was even a badass when the fucking Capitol tried to hijack her. Like, she didn't even let them hijack her, dude. Like, Katniss is Joanna is such an amazing fucking character. She's such a badass, and it's not like the cringy, girl boss type badass. She's just straight up a fucking badass, dude. They encapsulate the evil of the Capitol by showing there's no way to actually save yourself from them. You can go along with them and suffer being literally trapped. You can say no and maintain some autonomy, but you'll be punished for it. Yeah, and Katniss was... I keep saying Katniss for Joanna. Joanna was punished in the literal worst way imaginable, and like that would break anyone down, and I feel like most people would end up succumbing to the Capitol anyway, but she was still steadfast and believed in the revolution, and she made that mindset of I've lost everything, what the fuck else is there to lose, and that like she's just such a badass, dude. The Capitol will always win at the end of the day, and they really make the evils more obvious in a really scary way. Yeah, 100%. The Capitol is much scarier watching it as an adult than it was when I watched it as a kid. Like, genuinely, that shit is terrifying. Katniss motherfucking Everdeen. Katniss Everdeen. Where should I rank you? You're obviously going to be in one of the top 2 tiers, but where should I rank you? Okay. Katniss is going to be a god tier character for me, and that's not just because she is the main character. That's not the reason at all. We could talk about, I've already gone out for like an hour and a half talking about all these little fucking nuances, but I could talk all day long with the Hunger Games. And I do think Katniss deserves god tier, and that's not just because she's the main character. I think she deserves god tier because she is genuinely one of the first, like, female characters that... Okay, so let me back this up for a second, because what I was about to say didn't portray what I wanted to say. So she's, like, genuinely a female character that... Like, here. She feels like one of the first female characters that was really put into the spotlight so much and shown as this strong, like, steadfast person without the need to be attached to a love interest, Like, I love the fact that the love interest that wasn't a priority until it was literally a means of survival in the beginning. And I love that Katniss is just, like, not watered down to be, that's Peeta's girlfriend or Peeta's wife or Gale's girlfriend or whatever else. Like, she's a badass bitch by herself, and that's that. And I fucking love that. And I love that the book showed that, and I love that the movies did not water that down about Katniss. And I love that she's just, like, even though she doesn't want to be this figurehead of the rebellion, she takes on that role eventually, and she finally finds her fucking fire and fucking passion for this revolution and freeing the people of Panem. And it's like, Katniss is such a good fucking character, dude. And, like, Jennifer Lawrence also did such an amazing job of depicting Katniss. Like, everybody in this franchise did fucking amazing with their characterization. But Jennifer Lawrence did such a good job of portraying Katniss, and, like, Katniss feels like such a real character. Like they don't try and make her look pretty when she's crying. They don't try and make her look pretty when she's, like, fucking fatally wounded. They don't try and make her, like, all dolled up when, like, horrible shit is happening. Like, she shows raw fucking emotion, and that is what I love so much about Katniss Everdeen, and that is what I love so much about Jennifer Lawrence being the person to portray Katniss Everdeen. Fucking elite actress, fucking elite character, 100%, all the fucking way. Amazing characters, amazing actors. Just, Katniss is such a good character. Lady. Lady is Prim's goat. Absolute elite character. I don't think I need to say more. Lavinia. Who... Any character that's an Avox is just tragic to me. I don't really remember a lot about Lavinia's backstory, but I know that it was fucking depressing seeing her in every scene. Yeah, the goat is lit. Seeing her in, like, any scene she was in, Lavinia was fucking sad. I kind of want to look up more of Lavinia's backstory, because I don't really remember a lot about her. Hunger Games. Oh, she's based on mythology, it seems. Dude, the Avox are so fucking scary. Like, one of the scariest fucking things throughout all of the Hunger Games Avox Girl works as Capital servant for Katniss through the 747 Hunger Games. Nope. Okay. Her name is real Mockingjay when Peter recounted his experience in Capital imprisonment. Okay. So I feel like they go in more in depth about her in the books. Before she came in Avox, Lavinia and an unknown boy whom Katniss believes was her brother or lover were seen by Katniss and Gale when they were out hunting in off-limit woods outside of District 12. They appeared to be escaping from the capital of District 15 for unknown reasons. And Katniss noticed that the two had a capital look to them. The capital hovercraft appeared. The boy was struck with a spear that was shot from the hovercraft and was killed instantly. That was lifted up to the hovercraft, not to be mentioned again in the series. Lavinia, however, was scooped up by a net and taken into the hovercraft. She grew locked out as Katniss and Gale. When the boy was killed, she screamed what sounded like a name, and Katniss wondered if it was the name of the boy. Okay, so that's not. I don't think that's explained at all in the movie. So I'm going to base this off of the movie depiction. Just because they don't really go into depth about her in the movies, I will say she's an average character. But I feel like she could have definitely been a good character had they actually depicted her more. You know what I mean? And that's like the only problem with fucking movie adaptations of books. They can't fit all of this like smaller character stories into everything. And Avox is just scared the shit out of me, so like I'm not gonna list any of them as bad characters because they fucking scare me, dude. They scare me in the sense that the Capitol is fucking terrifying and will do whatever it takes to keep you fucking quiet. You know what I mean? Lime was a previous victor. She didn't really have a ton to do with the story. I know she was in the meeting when they went to District 4? It was District 3 or 4. How they were trying to get the people out of the mines. She had a little bit to do with that planning, but I don't think she was really seen like at all. So she's kind of irrelevant, a little bit irrelevant. Madge, I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember. Oh, Madge is the daughter of the mayor of District 12, right? Yes, isn't she the one that gives Katniss the Mockingjay pin in the books? I'm pretty sure Madge is the one that gives Katniss the Mockingjay pin in the books. And like they have a whole conversation before Katniss is taken away to the games. Yeah, okay, yeah, Madge should have 100% been in the movies, and I'm fucking pissed that she wasn't. And I know I said we were ranking people that were only in the movies, but I think Madge is an honorable mention because she's very important. Like, she's so important, and I'm so upset that they took her out. Like, I'm remembering now the things that she did, and I think she's an elite character, and she honestly deserves elite because it's fucking depressing. Like, she deserves it because they didn't even bother to put her in the movie. Like, I think it is cool the way that Katniss gets the Mockingjay pin in the movie, but it's also like there were some integral parts in that book that had to do with Madge. It's like, bro, how are you gonna fucking depict it? How are you gonna deprive us of that shit? Like, it's just, it does not feel fair. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there could have been so much emotional impact if Madge was actually in the movie. She was Katniss' only friend. Katniss realized that they were actually friends when Madge came to see her and gave her the pin. She said that Madge was kind and quiet, and they sat with each other in all their classes because they were both quiet and kept to themselves. Yeah. So we're kind of going off of the stipulations and including her because she should have been involved, dude. She should have been in the fucking movie. And like, yeah. It's not. I definitely think they should have involved her. Like, that would have been even more emotional for us to see Katniss's literal only friend come to see her and be like, hey, you can fucking do this. I believe in you. That would have been so, like, gut-wrenching. You know what I mean? They should have fucking included that shit. Oh, Mags. The way Katniss gets the pin, the way Katniss gets the pin is 100% better in the book. The movie, like, I don't hate the movie way that she gets it, but it pales in comparison to how she got it in the books. Mags is fucking god tier. My fucking Mags. I will forever be sad about Mags. And the saddest part about it is that I know that Mag sacrificed herself because she knew she wouldn't make it through the games. She knew she absolutely would not make it through the games, and that's 100% the reason why. And like the fact that Mags not even without a thought, volunteered herself up for Annie when she was picked for the Quarter Quell. Like, Mags just breaks my heart, dude. Mags deserve fucking better. Neither Annie nor Mags should have had to go to the game. To go to the Quarter Quell. Like, it fucking upsets me so much, dude. God, Mags is just so sad. I love Mags so goddamn much. She's such a sweet little old lady. And was she a mentor for Finnick or was she a mentor for Annie? I know she was a mentor for one of the two. And like that just makes it even more sad because then those three have just been like interlaced in each other's stories for so long. In the book, Madge gives her the pin and hugs her and gives her a kiss on the cheek before she goes, and it hurts. Also, Peeta's dad being Peeta's dad being cut also makes me mad too, because him coming to see Katniss before she goes and promising her that he will keep an eye on Prim, making sure that she's fed, hurts. It also actually makes the point more obvious that Prim is very well liked by everyone. Yeah, I agree. It was a huge L to cut out Peeta's dad. Oh, okay, so Max was both Finnick and Annie's mentors. See, and that makes it even more sad, dude. Because, like, all three of them obviously fucking know each other very well, and, like, Finnick obviously has a deep love for Mags, and it's like, they've known each other for so fucking long. And then to die just like that, like, ugh. Bro, it hurts so bad. I fucking love Mags. Marvel, go to hell. That's literally all I have to say. I, again, feel sympathy because he was also brainwashed by the Capitol. But fuck you, dude. You're the reason that Rue's dead. Fuck your bitch ass. Fuck you, bro. I don't like you. Fuck off, Marvel. I think Peeta's dad showing that Prim is so well like makes it more sense that Prim is like the Capitol sweetheart. Yeah, I agree with that because Joanna comments that Prim is a Capitol sweetheart, but we like don't see that at all. Like there is no there's like no indication that she is throughout the whole movie until Joanna says that. It's like I feel like they could have done way more to actually show that and like make that obvious. But Marvel, I don't give a shit that you were made to be a killing machine. Fuck you, brother. You killed Rue. That was the saddest fucking part of any of these goddamn movies. Fuck off. Oh, I can't read his name. Who's the next one? Masala. I know he was one of the filmmakers for the Propos. I don't think he was really relevant in the movies, to be honest. I don't think he was really relevant. Mrs. Everdeen. Such a fucking sad character again. So, like, it's such a very obviously a woman just struck by grief and sadness. Like, grieving still from the loss of her husband, and obviously sadness to see her her youngest daughter be fucking raped, and then her oldest daughter volunteer in that place, and to just fucking see Katniss go through all that shit. Like, this woman is just so deeply traumatized. In the books, it's drilled in that Prim is charming and childish, and everyone just can't help but love her. It makes more sense with the knowledge that some wouldn't touch Prim to avoid riots, which is why Katniss is the perfect spearhead for the revolution, because Snow literally can't hurt Katniss' family without causing riots. Yeah, and it's so trash that they didn't capitalize on that in the movies. It's like literally mentioned like twice, and that's it. But Mrs. Everdeen, I feel so much empathy for her, well, sympathy for her, because like this woman literally is just living in the poorest district, trying to fucking survive, even a little bit, trying to eat every day, and she's just like so stricken with tragedy and loss and grief. But in the books, I don't think I actually like Katniss's mother. I don't think I liked her at all. I think I actually really disliked her in the books from what I'm remembering. But that might have been because I read them so young and I didn't really understand, like, this woman is just fucking grief-stricken and going through so much constantly. I do think I do like her a lot more in Mockingjay Part 2 because she really does step up when after Prim dies to like be there for Katniss. Katniss' mom makes me so sad. She literally gave up a life of being better off and lost her family for it all. She was the man she loved, only to lose him and then lose herself. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know where to put her. Do we think she's elite, elite, or do we think she's a good character? I kind of want to give her elite just because her story, like understanding her as a character, makes a lot more sense for the way that she acts. But I don't know. Do you think she's good or elite? How do we feel about that one? Because I feel like it could go either way. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay, that's fair. I think she's good in the movies because they don't explain her in it at all. Yeah, they don't really go in depth about like why exactly she is the way that she is. So I agree with that. Octavia, she was also on the prep team. I don't really remember a ton about her. Like I know that she was fucking slay as shit. I don't think she had like an integral part like Cinna did though. Like I don't think she was super duper important in the movies. And like I think she was another character like Flavius, were like just so brainwashed by the Capitol, and so like in that shit that they don't even know. Elite in the books, but not the movies. Yeah, their relationship was really nuanced in the books, but in the movies they barely covered her. Yeah, I agree with that. They don't go in depth at all about Katniss and her mother's relationship in the movies. I think Octavia is kind of irrelevant in the movies. Sorry, in the movies, not the books. Motherfucking Paler, God tier. That is the president that Panem has deserved from the very fucking beginning, and I'm so goddamn glad she got her chance to actually be in power once Coin was dead. Paler is a fucking god tier character in the movies, and like even besides that, Miss Girl was out in the trenches. I'm sure she had an inkling that she would kind of like rise to power, like even through a democratic vote. Democracy? Is democratic the right word when I'm talking about democracy? Katniss' prep team is so good in the books. I think they dropped the ball in the movies. Yeah, they have no characterization in the movies. Like they are just kind of there in the movies. Paler though, I think she kind of had an inkling that once Panem was allowed to be democratic, that she would kind of have some type of power, but I think she's a very humble character in the fact that she's literally just in this because she sees the revolution, she sees what Panem could be, and that's literally what fuels her through all of this. And like she is literally in the fucking trenches in the hospital in District 8 taking care of these fucking wounded people, and like the only reason she survived is because she was with Katniss at the time outside of the building. And it's like Paler is 100% the president that Panem deserves and should rightfully have. Like I'm so glad that they actually ended up making her president at the end after Coin is fucking dead, because you know damn well that she's not going to do that bullshit and be anything like President Snow or Coin or whatever else. She's going to be for the people, by the people. You know what I mean? She's just that type of character. Peeta Mellark. For some reason, I just don't like Peeta as much as I should. And he's still an elite character to me. Peeta is a very good character, and I very much appreciate Peeta. You really think Peeta is God tier? I'm not sure that I do. I think Peeta is a very good character. I think that my problem is I think that I understand why he's upset about Katniss not really fully liking him, and in the beginning really using their love as a means of survival. But I feel like in the movie he is so fucking whiny about it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like him and Gale are the same, just in that aspect though, because they fail to realize that Katniss is doing what she can to make sure she survives, her family survives, and the people around her survive. Katniss is very much doing a lot of things to make sure that she and her family and the people she cares about are not in the line of fire. And I feel like Peeta, in the movie at least, really fails to realize that, because he obviously has people he cares about, but it's not the same type of relationship, because his family, like his dad isn't any type of way towards him, but his mom is fucking abusive and doesn't like him. So I think it's very like it's a very different type of survival for both of them, in terms of like who they are caring about and who they're trying to help survive. So I think Peeta is just very not understanding of Katniss in the movie. At least I know he's different in the books, but in the movie I just don't like the fact that he's so at Katniss for the things that she does to make sure she survives and her family survives and everybody else's family survives and her friends and people she loves about survives. Yeah, he is way better in the books, but he literally loves Katniss so much and tries to do everything to protect her that he possibly can. Remember, he like actually had a crush on her for years, and he got some emotional whiplash because she suddenly showed him the affection he ever got from his family, and they definitely wanted it, and then she just iced him out. Yeah, and I definitely understand that, and that's why I won't put him any lower than a lead, because he still is a very good character. I just think there is a lack of understanding between him and Katniss, and I think a lot of that is just his past and who he is as a person. But I just don't like the way it's depicted in the movie of him just being like, I will fuck you. Like, you were trying to survive, but fuck you. Like, that's the only thing I don't like about him in the movie. But in the books, he would absolutely be God tier if we were basing this off of book Peeta. Because I like him so much better in the books. He humanized Katniss in a way that she needed, because genuinely she didn't think about the fact that people's emotions and needs were important and a part of survival. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. That's again why Peeta is just an amazing character, but even better in the books. Plutarch Heavensbee, very, very, very complicated character. Very complicated character. Plutarch Heavensbee, he is a master manipulator. He is obviously a huge reason. Yeah, very controversial king, 100%. Plutarch is the controversial king of the Hunger Games series. He obviously was on board with the revolution and wanted things different for Panem and wanted the capital to burn, basically. But he is way too good at playing both sides. And he, in his letter to Katniss in the movies, literally says that he would put Katniss through everything that she went through again if it meant that things could happen the way that they did. And I understand that to a degree, because a lot of the time in Revolution, somebody has to suffer, regardless of whether it's the good side or the bad side. Somebody is going to suffer in a revolution. And the figurehead of that revolution is usually going to go through a lot of shit and a lot of terrible shit. But I also just don't like the fact that he was kind of also brainwashed by Coin. Like, he just kind of did what Coin, and like, he obviously had opinions that went against Coin and tried to speak out against Coin, but he eventually just like rolled over and took it, because that's what he just like could not get through to her. He was necessary to the revolution, very much the catalyst for things actually starting to work in the way they needed to. But he was so focused on his goal and end goal, it doesn't matter what had to happen to reach that point. He believed in an honorable sacrifice, but he didn't give anyone a chance to make this decision themselves. And that is 100% accurate, and that is 100% why I have very convoluted feelings about him. He very much did so much for the revolution, but he was just, if it doesn't matter who has to suffer, somebody's going to suffer, and if it's for the good of the revolution, so be it. He was a master manipulator. He only saw people as pieces on a chessboard and means to an end. Yeah, 100%. And I think because of that, he deserves being the average tier. I will always commend Plutarch for his behavior in the revolution, but I also can't excuse the fact that he just did not humanize people at all. Like, he lacked so much humanity for people in general. And I don't that might even be too high of a ranking for him. That might genuinely be too high of a ranking. He's just a very complicated character and very controversial. That might be a little too high. I think I want to put him here. Just because, like, it's hard to have good feelings about him, even though he did so much for the revolution. It's hard to have good feelings about him because he just literally threw humanity out the fucking window. And it's like, well, if you have to die, you have to die. Like, it's that one fucking meme, like, I'm willing to sacrifice other people or whatever else. I think it was like a SpongeBob meme. Just like talking about how somebody else is willing to sacrifice somebody else's lives. It's like, that is exactly what he does. So, like, I think he kind of deserves to be there because his catalyst behavior in the revolution does not outweigh the fact that he just threw literal children to the wolves to fucking die for the revolution. Pollux. My boy Pollux. Oh. Where did he go? Where did I just accidentally put him? Oh, I did not mean to put him down there. He's a god tier character, I think. Is he god tier or elite? I think movie. No. Okay, fuck it. I'm putting Pollux in the god tier because I love Pollux so fucking much, dude. I love him, and I honestly don't have much to say about Pollux other than the fact that he is another, like, piece of the puzzle in terms of humanizing the revolution. Obviously, because he just lost his fucking brother while they were on their way to literally assassinate President Snow. And, like, just the way he's affected by that. And he's, like, I don't know, he's such... Like, he obviously doesn't speak because he was an Avox, but, like, he just depicts so many fucking emotions through the small part of the franchise that he's actually a part of. And he's characterized so well, and I'm pretty sure they go more in depth about him in the books. But, like, movie Pollux, just a solid fucking character, and it breaks my goddamn heart every time I watch Mockingjay, because I have to fucking see his brother die and see him fucking be so goddamn devastated about everything. And the fact that this man is still, he was an Avox, and he's like, he's been through some of the worst shit the Capitol can put you through, and this man is still out here fighting for the revolution and fighting for better and fighting so that people don't have to go through the shit that he did. Like, he is such a important part of the mindset when it comes to people who are from the Capitol who decided to become part of the revolution. Like, this man is really just fighting for the fucking better for everyone else. And that's fucking it, dude. Like, and, like, I know he's on the film team and everything, but you know damn well that man was, like, ready to fucking go to battle for Katniss. And he, like, very obviously was. Portia. Okay, I'm putting her in the good tier, but hear me out. That's just for movie Portia, because I know that they go in more in depth about Portia in the actual books. But I don't think she's really in the movies that much. I know she's obviously important, but I don't think she's in the movies that much. But, like, the parts where she is in the movies, she's just fucking serving every time. She's a fucking slay. She's a goddamn goddess in every fucking scene. So, like, I don't really remember a ton of what she does in the books. Like, I know I'm pretty sure she's on the prep team, but, like, she looks fucking incredible. Everything she does in the movies is amazing. She's good in the movies. Primrose Everdeen. Absolute fucking god tier character. And you know why? That's because Prim has always been a little goddamn warrior. She's always been a little fucking fighter. Primrose, literally until she fucking died, was out there on the front lines of the revolution helping people. And all she wanted to do was help people. Like, from the very beginning, that child just wanted to help people, no matter what. And she helped people through so many different circumstances, and immediately took on the role of being like a caretaker in District 13, and was just like so important in so many, like, even if she wasn't there, she was so important in so many parts of Katniss's character as well. Because, like, especially with moments like between Katniss and Rue, Katniss always said Rue remind her of Prim, and like that's another thing that kind of humanized Katniss, because obviously Katniss, there were multiple instances where Katniss showed that she did not want to kill anybody or did not want to fight in the Hunger Games, but Rue was really like that big moment of like, holy shit, these are fucking kids that we're going up against. I can't do this. And like, not only was she allies with Rue, she was friends with Rue, and like the whole revolution that, like, literally the revolution that was sparked because Rue died, like, and like Katniss's pulling similarities between her and Prim. Like, even when Prim wasn't there, she had such an effect on certain situations. And it's like, Prim is such a fucking important character. Like, she's not in the movies, she kind of is diminished to just being Katniss's sister, but like in the books, she's like making her own. She's being her own person and making her own character on her own. And like, even in the movie, she's a fucking great character just because of like all the ways that she, you know, inadvertently affected people and their mindset, and like literally, like, she inadvertently saved Katniss's family from being murdered by Snow, even when Katniss was going against Snow. And it's like, she's such a good character, dude. And I wish they would have went more in depth about her in the movies, but still, fucking amazing character. And the next character goes right up there with her, which is Rue, because Rue, such a fucking cute, like, she's so adorable. And like, turn up my mic a little. Oh, I didn't change anything. I'll turn up a little bit. Rue will always break my fucking heart. It's constantly, literally every time I watch the fucking Hunger Games, I cry when Rue dies. And you know, that's fair, because she is one of the saddest fucking deaths, but like, I don't really know how Suzanne Collins was depicting this, but it is very telling that it was the death of a little black girl that caused an absolute revolution. And that is just pulling, and like, for doing that was so ahead of the events that would happen in the world, especially in 2020, with, you know, everything that happened with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and all that stuff. Like, that was so a statement that was so ahead of its time and ahead of the things that would happen later in our country. But it's so powerful to see Rue and Katniss's relationship, and it's so powerful to see exactly what Rue dying made happen, because that was like the first little spark of a revolution that Panem had seen in how long. Like, it was the first little spark of uprising that Panem had ever seen. And like, their speech, like Katniss and Peeta's speech when they went to District 7 breaks my fucking heart every time. But again, just another little fuel of revolution. And like, I think that was a huge wake-up call for Katniss and Peeta, that holy shit, like, no matter what we do, people are going to get hurt. But I also think it was a fact of like, holy shit, people are rallying behind us, like, even if we're not meaning to do anything. Because in the movie, Katniss is even like, what, like, she literally is like, what did I do? Like, what did I do wrong? What happened? 11. Yeah, District 11. But it's like, that was their first little spark of like any type of revolution. And it's just, not only do I love Katniss and Rue's relationship, like, it's such a cute little like big and little sister type thing, but like, just the impact of that relationship, and like how it was used in like Catching Fire, when Peeta painted her and Katniss did the fucking hanging the dummy of Seneca Crane. It's like, holy shit, it had such a ripple effect on the entire series, and it's just obviously it's fucking terrible that she died, and like it was so sad, but it like the impact of it after it was fucking incredible. In the book, when Katniss Everdeen reminds her of Prim, oh my god, yeah. In the book, it's so devastating, like the similarities she pulls between them. It's so fucking sad, dude. Cedar, I don't really think they went into detail about Cedar in the movie. Like, I know that she was from the same district as Chaff, but I don't really think she played a ton of relevance in the Court of Quell, if I'm not mistaken. I think she knew about the revolution, but I'm not really sure. I know she died kind of early on though, so she's kind of just. I don't think she's very relevant in the movie. Seneca Crane. Seneca motherfucking Crane. This might be controversial, but I am going to label him as an elite character, and here's why. I think this is a situation. Well, I don't even think it was a situation where it was a Cinna type situation where Seneca knew that he was going to have consequences, and even in the movies, you can see that President Snow talks to him multiple times about making sure that the flame of Katniss is extinguished quickly, and he doesn't listen. And I think that's because that man wanted a revolution just as much as anybody else, and he was not as brainwashed by the Capitol as we think he was. Obviously, he was to a very large degree because he was the game maker and seemingly could have been an act, but seemingly reveled in the things that he did as game maker. But he's another character where he literally put his life on the line, and I don't think he expected to die, but I do think that he knew what he was doing when he made them both survive, and he knew exactly the type of thing, maybe not the extent of what that would lead to, but he knew exactly the type of things that would lead to. So Seneca Crane, I think, is an elite character just for that alone. President Snow. President fucking Snow. I am going to put him in the bottom tier, but that's not because... Okay, I do hate President Snow, but I don't hate him in the visceral way that I hate Coin. I hate that he has become so convoluted with and corrupted with power that he does the things that he does. And I think that is just a man who was very warped by the things that happened and very warped by the things that he saw growing up and like just everything that happened to him. I think that he was very warped by it, and he's a very scary character, and he is scary in the sense that he's just pure fucking evil. Like, he is just so malicious and he sits the same way that Plutarch is, in terms of, it doesn't matter what I have to do to get what I want, I'm gonna fucking get it, and if you're in the way, have fun being buried 6 feet under. He is like, if we were basing this off of characterization and like how well it was done, he would be in God tier. But for the fact that he's just such a terrible person, and it doesn't matter how convoluted by power he is or how corrupted by power he is like, even if he didn't have that power, he's straight up just a scary motherfucker, and he definitely deserves to be in that bottom tier because of that. Thread, also, fucking hate him. Dick, hate him. He's so angry for no reason. Like, I cannot stand that man. He is not good. Thresh, I'll put him in the good tier just because he was not expanded upon like he was in the books. Thresh, he's such a good character. Yeah, Thresh 100% deserved better. Thresh 1,000% deserved better, and it's so fucking sad because like there's few people that show Katniss mercy in the arena, and Thresh is obviously one of them, and he does it for Rue. He even says like he says to Clove like I heard you saying her name in reference to Rue, and it's like he just as all of them was just a fucking kid trying to survive, and I think for him it was always the back of his mind that if it came down to it, what would he do if it was him and Rue left? What would he do if it was him and one of these more vulnerable younger kids left? And like this, like he was more willing to kill than Katniss and Peeta, but he only did it because he had to, and he only did it because he wanted to survive, and he didn't want. None of them wanted to fucking die, but he was willing to go out of his way and strike first. In contrast to Katniss and Peeta when they only really needed to do it when they had to. But I think I want to put him in the good tier just because he wasn't really that deep in the movies. He was more deep in the books, but I want to put him in the good tier because the things that he did in the movies are just very telling of the person that he was. And the say her name stuff was with Rue was like kind of scary when you think about it, how it parallels things that have happened in real. Oh my god, yeah, it's fucking terrifying to think about it. Well, that's why it like brings a tear to my eye when that scene happens, because it's like, holy shit, this was like the mantra of 2020 when Breonna Taylor died, and it's like, holy shit, that is fucking like so scary. Like in this fucking dystopian novel that's so far from reality, there's like things that are paralleling real life in them, and that's so terrifying to think of, like in this day and age. Tigress is a god tier character, and that's not just because she helped him in the revolution, but it's because she went against Snow. Isn't Tigress Snow's cousin or something? Yeah, Tigress is so good, and like she's obviously only briefly in the movies, but like the fact that she was so willing to help them and like literally is related to President Snow and like tried to say, I'm pretty sure when you look at it in the book, she actually tried to like keep him from becoming the person that he is today, and like she saw the evil in him, but still chose to rebel against him and help Katniss literally on a mission to kill him. Like basically gave her blessing to be like, yeah, go ahead, do it, save us all. Badass bitch. Venia was on the prep team. Again, they really did the prep team dirty in the movies because they did not go into any. I don't even remember seeing her in the movie, but they did not go into any depth to explain any of the prep team and like give them a character at all. They're just like so one dimensional in the movies. She did all she could to help save him from who he became. He didn't listen. She basically raised him so literally to her body and to support him after the revolution. Yeah. Tigress is a bad bitch. Bad fucking bitch. And lastly, we have Wiress. I almost want to put Wiress here just because Beatty's here. And I want to put her there because she is obviously an integral part of the Court of Quell, and literally is the reason why they figure out anything from the Court of Quell. My autistic queen, yeah. We love Wiress. But I want to put her in Elite because I think they also, as most characters, could have done so much better with depicting her in the movies, because like they had the chance and they killed her off. I know she dies pretty quickly, but they killed her off so fast. But I feel like they could have went more in depth, like when Katniss was talking to them in the training arena beforehand. I feel like they could have went more in depth about her as a person, and like when Hamish was trying to get them to team up with people, I feel like they could have done a way better job of depicting her. And I feel like she's kind of just depicted as like, I don't know, like one thing, you know? She doesn't really have the dimension that she does in the books. But she's still an amazing character. I love Wyrus. She's fucking adorable and amazing. Oh my god, yeah. Wyrus' actress was fucking amazing. Like, I love Wyrus' actress. She did such a good job. But yeah, I think she could have been given a little bit more dimension, even in the books, even in the movie, because even Beatty was given more dimension than that. And I feel like they could have done the same thing with Wyrus. But she was fucking genius, and literally is the reason why they survived the Court of Well. So she deserves to be ranked very highly. Whew. And after I talked for like an hour and a half, we finally have our rankings. She's depicted as being just crazy to everyone except Katniss and Beetee. Yeah, that's what I don't like about it. I don't like that she's depicted that way and just given like this one thing, like, ooh, she's fucking wild. Like, it's the same thing with Annie. They just kind of watered her down to be like, ooh, she's fucking crazy. That's it. Like, that's not all she was as a character. But after I talked for like an hour and a half, we finally have our definitive ranking of the Hunger Games characters.